Basically, in 1 month, you increase your
Absolutely,
annual
100%.
income to $6,000 a year.
I try to figure out how can I put my money to use instead of putting in a checking account or a savings account. I have already purchased my first flip in San Diego. A lot of the real estate advices that I hear on the internet say never do the job yourself. I actually disagree. People don't understand real estate is a relationship-based business. Those who cannot maintain or acquire good relationships will not become successful in real estate at all.
Hi, Ahmed. Welcome to Path of Progress.
Thank you, Alex, for inviting me to your wonderful podcast. It's a pleasure to be here.
Of course, it's a pleasure to having you, man.
Thank
You
you.
made an incredible journey from being a banker to becoming a full-time real estate investor. And I can't
Correct.
wait for you to share your journey with our listeners. Yeah.
Absolutely. You know, though I have a degree in biological sciences, I'm supposed to be working in biology and chemistry and biotech companies. I shifted my career to find the niche that I enjoy the most, which is sales. And that drove me to be part of the banking world. And I was a banker for close to 15 years, actually. But toward the end of my career, I got into the real estate, and it was the most beautiful experience ever. So I decided 3 years ago to quit my job 100% and become a real estate professional.
It took you a while. What pushed you to make the change?
All the things that people go through to actually say, I want to have the freedom for my life. And my son was born just about 4.5 years ago. And me seeing the value of spending time with my family, my son, even though he was born in a pandemic and I was working from home, I still didn't find enough time to spend with him. So after me successful doing a couple of refinances and a big check hit my account, my wife looked at me. She said, "This is the job you should be doing full time, not banking." So I took the leap of faith and I quit my job and I became a real estate professional. And currently I own close to 15 units on my own, and I syndicate about 290 units.
Love it. Wow, an incredible journey. But let's reverse a little bit. So while you were working at banker in Manhattan, right?
What
So did you have any clients that were working real estate that push you to think about it, and have you had any influence from your previous job?
Absolutely. Me being a business banker actually gave me the leeway to look at a lot of my business customers who were very successful in business. And a lot of the successful people actually owned real estate. And I'm the one who actually looked at their accounts, their financials, who applied them for loans, and had the chance to sit down one to one and kind of ask them all kinds of great questions about real estate and why they invest in real estate. It actually made me think that I should reverse the equation and promote myself to a customer just like them. So I'll be the person going to the bank acquiring the loans instead of me giving the loans to somebody else. So that was a
Love
huge,
it.
learning curve. Is just me learning from the streets, basically, of New York, of why people invest in real estate, what kind of advantages they acquire by investing in real estate. So definitely, that was my first step.
Also, real money in real estate, huh? So what was your first real estate investment?
At that time, around 2015, 2016, the wife and I were looking for a house. And just looking at my clients, a lot of them actually own multifamily. So that gave me the idea that instead of living in one single family house, I should live maybe in a two-family house and rent one and live in one. So that's what I found.
House hacking.
House hacking
So we
100.
go over house. Yep.
So I was cash flowing $1,000 right off the bat with my first property that I acquired in the Hudson Valley of New York, and it was a great experience. So that was my first investment property, basically, that gave me the light bulb that turns on in my life for real estate investments. And the minute I bought the house, I was cash flowing $1,000 a month. That went toward the mortgage. So that year, which is in 2017, I found another two-family house upstate New York in an area that was, for the lack of a better term, being gentrified in a city close to the river. So I jumped on that experience, that property, that opportunity, and I actually bought it right away toward the end of the year of 2017, 2018. I started renovation, and that eventually quadrupled in value.
So basically, within a year, already got two properties, right?
Within 1 year exactly, not even 6 months apart, I got two properties.
Wow. Love it. And that house hacking first property
Yes,
gave you enough boost of confidence, right? So you could proceed. You got extra cash flow, and you got additional, uh, proof of concept for you and your family that it works, right? That you can do it. And you from banking industry going through financials, you understand the numbers very good, and it help you
correct.
to calculate this properly, to underwrite it.
Correct.
But I want to come back to house hacking, right? I mean, I think it's very undepreciated, unappreciated models that a lot of people don't find sexy and appealing. But this is what for first time homeowners and home buyers, this
Absolutely.
is very important, right? Because now instead of getting into money pit in a house, right, where you have to pay all the mortgage and insurance and taxes, you have another unit that
Mhm.
offloading your burden, right, on insurance and taxes. And even if it's not paying fully all your all the house payment, but it covers
Absolutely.
partially all the payments,
100%.
it already helps, right? So in your stance, like how much was your principal insurance taxes, in the first year, and what was your rental income? Did it cover completely or
I think it was at 3.5%, 3.75%. Of course, those rates are long gone. But I looked at the model,
love it?
and the apartment upstairs was already rented for $1,000. You know what I'm saying? So my payment was altogether with the taxes and insurance was like $2,200 a month. I'm getting $1,000 for my tenant, so I'm paying like $1,200 a month. But soon enough, that tenant decided to leave, and so I went in there myself, learned some tips from YouTube, and watching my contractors who were renovating my house, my portion of the house, doing some work. I was like, this is something I can do on the weekends or nighttime. So I would get off work at nighttime, let's say around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, I come home and I spend like 1 to 2 hours cutting up some stuff, painting, rollers, and just like learned a lot of tricks on my own, watching my contractors, and I became handy over time. I negotiated the house. A contractor used to live in the house, so I negotiated part of the house that all the tools that he has, he doesn't have to take with them. So when I acquired the house, he left me a lot of the tools actually in the basement that I used, worth
Wow.
hundreds of dollars basically, and was able to basically use those tools. Yeah.
Good, but no, listen, it's very interesting because now we from house hacking we go into another
Right.
interesting topic is DIY, right? Do it yourself, YouTube University, and a lot of people trying to shy away from this and hire
Yep.
contractors and getting slammed on the bills. But you pick up a hammer and you
Absolutely.
doing your own sweat equity. You building your equity in the house and you learn the ropes how to
Yeah.
do it. There's only benefits from it, right? You understand then the process how it works in renovation, and you basically creating your equity, creating value in
Absolutely.
your own home
Absolutely.
residence.
So yeah, a lot of the real estate advices that I hear on the internet and the podcast is say never do the job yourself. I actually disagree 100%. For somebody who wants to get in the real estate world, okay, and really want to understand the micro components of real estate, which is renovation, construction, and development, you should learn these things. If you are able to actually see it and observe it, hands-on experience, I highly encourage you. If you're not able to do that, that's a different story. But for me, I love working with my hands. I'm a very handy person. I saw them doing it. I had all the tools. I negotiated to keep all the tools inside the house from the contractor who used to live in this house. So I learned a lot of trades: how to spackle, how to paint, how to install flooring, some trim work, using a compressor with a nailer. All that stuff I learned on my own. Years ago, my first job, I was at the age of maybe 12, was woodworking. You know what I'm saying? In the summertime. So I picked up a lot of trades when I was a little kid, working as a woodworking, individual at a small, shop. But let alone just the experience of working with my own hands, I learned how to negotiate better with contractors because I see how much it is to cost, for example, the cost of a piece of sheetrock, $14.99. You know what I'm saying? And how much does it take to install that sheetrock on a 2x4 wall? You know what I'm saying? So you're able to say to the contractor, no, you cannot charge me $500 to do this wall. It's all about 250 and it takes about 15 hours, kind of thing. So absolutely, yep.
Exactly. And so what was your new rent for that apartment that you renovated?
After renovation, the rent jumped to $1,500 right off the bat.
Wow, 15%, 50% increase.
And was just basic linoleum, correct. Basic painting, basic installation of a couple of wires and fixtures, you know. I repainted the cabinet. I left everything as is. I did not really buy anything brand new except for a couple of fixtures and some linoleum flooring, and that's it.
It's all simple DIY, right? It's all simple stuff. You don't need permits for that. You just do cosmetic work, and people appreciate it. First of all, you creating value because you making your house nicer, right? On the second side, because the rent got up, because new people appreciate it, and tenants will appreciate this new and clean environment where they can stay. So they okay to pay more for it. And how long did it take you to renovate it?
The renovation was about a month, to be honest with you, not even a couple of weeks. But it's very simple stuff: fresh paint, change the faucets, clean the kitchen a little bit. I sanded and painted the cabinets to white color. I mean, very basic stuff, to be honest with you.
Love it. So in basically in 1 month, you increase your
Absolutely,
annual
100%.
income to $6,000 a year. I mean,
Yep.
it's incredible, and it didn't cost you much. It just cost you time and the spare time in the
Absolutely.
evenings, and you just did it work yourself. And and what about the building itself? What about your
Yeah.
evaluation for the building? Did it increase over the time, or did you try to do refinancing? You still have that building?
Yes, I do. I still live in the same house. I am soon moving to San Diego, actually. So the portion of the house that I'm actually live in will be rented. It's going to bring a very healthy rent. Things have changed in the Hudson Valley since 2017 until now. Everything went up in value. So me buying the second house, the two-family house up in Hudson, New York, give me the opportunity to actually hire real contractors and do a full renovation from the exterior and the interior of the house. But I also was there doing the project management as much as possible. So after work, especially on weekends, I'll be there with my workers working, acquiring some stuff from Home Depot and Lowe's, and sometimes from the internet to have it shipped there. But I was like hands-on kind of thing, and I always ask the contractor upon finishing everything, please take a video and send it to me on WhatsApp. So me and WhatsApp became very good friends, and I, I highly encourage any real estate investors to use some kind of a technology to offer some kind of control of what's going on in the projects, right? So even later on in my career as a real estate professional, when I do projects, I have installed cameras in my properties. You know what I'm saying? Even though they're doing their job, I trust them. I want to see who's coming in and out, what kind of stuff being dropped off, what kind of job are they doing, what kind of pace they're doing it at. You know what I'm saying? So when I come at the end of the week, I want to do full review to all the materials that were delivered and the job that's been accomplished at that time. You know what I'm saying?
Incredible. So your first DIY project basically enabled you to manage and be
Absolutely.
comfortable managing larger projects and more units and more. So what is your own property to date?
I acquired 5 units last year, and toward the end of the year, I acquired a 6 unit. So I consider those two acquisitions as my biggest self-managed, a project, which is I'm doing 11 units at once, basically. You know what I'm saying? The 5 units is already finished, it's
Oh
fully
wow.
occupied, and we are doing a cash out refinance. And the 6 unit is on its way of being stabilized. Hopefully by the end of next year, will be 100% stabilized, and I want to do also another cash out refinance on it.
And how do you manage 11 units renovations? How did you do it?
Well,
What it enabled you? I mean, do you use cameras? Mhm.
the project management and property management go hand to hand. You know what I'm saying? So there's two elements to that. There's the administrative and the legal side of it, which I can do anywhere I want in the world. You know what I'm saying? Use the technology, and there's the physical aspect of it. As far as the physical aspect, I have a team of contractors and subcontractors and handymen that do some of the work for me. So I get things shipped to the location of the property and they do the work. But I do have sometimes, if I hire people by the hour or I do by projects, I like to have a camera outside and maybe a camera inside the units being renovated. And I will let them know, hey, we have system of control. I always have partners involved. You know what I'm saying? So I like to control everything basically, not to be micromanaging or anything like this. I don't do that with my workers, but I let them know that, hey, there's materials could be stolen from the location. We want to control it. We want to also make sure that everything's be done on time and in a good way, basically, for our clients to be comfortable to live in there 100% without worrying about anything goes wrong. I want everything to be up to code. I want everything to be done right and to be with very good looking kind of like end finish, basically. You know what I'm saying? So I'm able to raise the rents and be able to cash out refinance in the future.
So I understand the construction part.
Yep,
How about property management part? Do you look for your own tenants? How you plan to manage it from San Diego? What is your goal? How do you want to do it?
absolutely. So my property management aspect for the 11 units well, actually 14 units that I have, is two parts of it. There's the administrative and the legal part of it, and the second one is the physical, which if something goes wrong, who is going to be there? For that, I have two or three guys who have copies of the keys that I trust. They're contractors that I have quite a good relationship with. So if there's something breaks, I have told my tenants to actually call that person or these persons. You know what I'm saying? So I don't get the phone call if something goes wrong with the property. They get the call specifically for maintenance. As far as screening, reviewing the application, conducting the interviews, meeting the dogs, I do it physically myself. I drive and see it myself, or I do it via camera. So I do like some kind of like a video chat, and I want to see their location, where they live at right now. In the camera, maybe I can see something that inside their house that I'm not really happy with. The way they do, the way they have the room set up, or the house, or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So it's really important. It is.
That's a, that's an interesting approach, right? So you basically screening them for where's the
Right.
liver now. So if the house is messy, if they have
Yes.
dog and they claim they don't have a dog, now you have your own, your own review basically.
Unfortunately, in a state like New York, us landlords have to go a little bit more, have to be a little bit more careful when screening tenants because of the regulations in blue states, as you probably know. You know what I'm saying? But me being extra careful and conducting well thought out interviews with all my tenants, prospective tenants, offered me the ability to do this business since 2017 with zero evictions till now. Zero
Wow.
evictions whatsoever. Not anybody whatsoever. None. Absolutely none. And I have a very great relationship with all my tenants. They consider me as a friend and a brother, which is awesome.
And
Long-term
all of your
tenants,
tenants are
absolutely,
long-term tenants, right?
absolutely. Long-term tenants, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay. How do you find your tenants? Do you put advertisement on Facebook or Zillow?
I don't like to advertise my units on basic platforms like Facebook or Craigslist. I like to make it more complicated, more complex. I should say not complicated, more complex. So I advertise on Zillow and Apartments.com.
Professional touch, and they can apply through Zillow website as well. You go in through
Yep,
applications and you just review. You have your guidelines for the acceptance,
yep,
and you making your interview call with them, and that you weed out. You
100%.
finding the best tenant that will fit. It'll work for both of them, for them and for you. You give them your,
Yep,
guidelines as
yep,
a landlord, what you expect from them as a tenant, and also they can fit if you're
100%.
gonna be a good fit for them to live with them. So
Yes, sir.
it's a really good strategy. So what's next on you, Jordan? You mentioned that you went into bigger multifamily, larger. We're talking about 200 plus units. How did you get there?
Short after getting my two houses, the two family houses that I bought, I tried to figure out how can I put my money to use instead of putting in a checking account or a savings account and earning close to nothing. Me being a banker, I wanted to put my money where I can actually passively acquire great returns and still take advantage of the depreciation that multifamilies or real estate could offer me. So I went to special training online during the pandemic. It's basically a conference, a conference online, and the idea of syndication was introduced to me, which was amazing because I thought syndication only happens between banks when they syndicate bigger loans to acquire a Walmart. But I didn't know that regular private individuals can actually do syndication and can purchase big properties and big commercial properties and syndicate those deals for the funds. And also the returns go back to the investors with a huge tax advantages, specifically when we talk about depreciation, which I was super aware of because I was a banker, I was a business banker. So after that, I started basically passively invest in some of the syndication in the southeast of the United States and Pennsylvania. And that basically brought a huge opportunity for me to actually see some money come to my checking account passively every 3 months, every quarter, without me have to go out there and screen tenants or lift the paintbrush or do anything, which is awesome. Um, so after me doing a couple of syndications passively, with the third and the fourth one, I became part of the GP when I actually started doing some asset management with the GP personnel, basically who did the actual deals. So part of the management deal kind of thing, co-GPing with them to bring something to the table for management, and not be also still 100% a key principal, so to speak. So syndication offers those layers to be either 100% passive or to be 100% involved or partially involved in the deal, which was great for me.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but how large is those deals? How many units are we talking about?
The first deal that I got, I invested both passively and actively in was 70 units in the Atlanta market, by Atlanta, Georgia market. And the second one is 236 units, 237 units. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Yep.
Okay. That's an interesting increase, right? From 14 units privately owned and operated, you jump into 240 units, 300
Correct.
units, being part of general partnership teams that managing it.
Correct.
Um, so what's looking ahead? What's next? Do you want to focus on, as a multifamily big projects, or you want to keep acquiring smaller units in Hudson Valley, or are you going to start buying San Diego?
All the above, actually. I know that some people say don't do the shotgun approach and you have to be focused, but I found what works out for me, which is, I liked to have my own properties in the Hudson Valley because I know the market very well, and I utilize the economies of scale, so to speak, especially in upstate New York where I'm investing. So I know the area very well. I know the brokers. I know the workers. I know the realtors. I know the lumber shops that I actually have, a relationship with, where I acquire some of my material to finish the renovation. So that is not going to stop. You know what I'm saying? I already have my team there set for the management and the maintenance. So eventually I would like to acquire one or two more properties in the Hudson Valley and keep my eyes still open for any opportunities in that part of New York. Now, as far as my trip to San Diego, I have already purchased my first flip in San Diego. And this happened literally about 2 weeks ago by acquiring a property that is an off-market property. And hopefully this will be done in about 3 to 4 months. I'm able to hopefully flip it, get my money in the garnish, and hopefully continue to do that in San Diego since I like construction so much. And as far as syndication, I am not going to stop there because I have some amazing partners that I built relationship with for the past 3 to 4 years. I belong to a mastermind group of individuals who are extremely bright, extremely smart, and they love the multifamily and other businesses that are related to multifamily and real estate. So we're not stopping the journey at all. As a matter of fact, we're even looking at Puerto Rico now, you know what I'm saying, to acquire some properties in Puerto Rico because of the advantages there.
Okay, so how do you manage this property in San Diego? You live in Hudson Valley right now
Right.
in New York. So what's your secret sauce?
I have a family member. My brother is there. He's a project manager. He's taking care of everything for me. He calls me on a daily basis multiple times a day, send me all kinds of videos, uses the technology and WhatsApp. And I'm able to give him all my, basically share my experiences with him. He also has a talent of acquiring, very affordable laborers and contractors in San Diego. And we know where to buy materials from. He has some real estate experience. We have access to some capital, of course, my personal and his personal capital. So we're able to basically get that flip done with no hiccups at all. Eventually, I'm going to be living in San Diego. I'm going to build my own team, and hopefully, eventually, I want to get to the level where I can have my own fund, so I don't have to acquire a property using my own cash and or a hard money loan. I would like to basically involve some investors to come in the fund and utilize the funds money to acquire properties and or develop properties in San Diego.
So basically, till you're not living in San Diego yet, you formed a partnership, boots on the ground, someone who looked for the property for you, right? Who will hire people and will help you manage until you relocate to the area yourself. And this is probably the same thing you're doing in multifamily space, right? In North Carolina, you have some boots on the ground partnership who's handling and being eyes on the ground, right? They looking at the properties, they checking contractors and um, overseeing the project, right? Someone local. Yeah, this is great. This is what we all strive for, right? And especially if we invest out of state, we need someone we can trust, someone, and those relationships can be formed through masterminds, through relatives, right, through our friends. And people don't realize how large networks they have through Facebook, LinkedIn, and you just take one message away and and just share your journey like you did, and that's how you connect with people and your relatives. You talk about it and they got excited about it as well, and now you're doing a project together. Amazing.
And it's funny that when I was a banker, my entire business was based on relationship. I was a relationship manager. It's all about building the relationships. So the real estate world actually emulates exactly what I was doing basically in banking, which is building a relationship. And people don't understand real estate is a relationship based business. Those who could not maintain or acquire good relationships do not become successful in real estate at all. And so this is one of my fortes. I might not be the best builder in the world or the smarter, underwriter in the world, but I'm really good at acquiring relationships and maintain those relationships and foster those relationships for many years. So that gave me some leeway to be what I'm at right now in such a short period of time, basically.
Yep. No, I agree. Network is your net worth, right? That's what they say. And listen, for people who just started in real estate, you moving in different directions, right? You did house hacking, you did multifamily, small multifamily, large multifamily, passive and active now investing. Also, you're doing flipping and you invest in out of state and you look in Puerto Rico. For beginners, what will be your advice? How do they start and what directions they should choose?
I highly recommend for anybody to, of course, one of the most important things to do your research and understand what kind of things you want to get into. But do not get stuck. You have to take action. Analysis paralysis is something like a disease. You know what I'm saying? It's not a condition. It's a disease. If you get stuck with it, you will never move anywhere. Absolutely nowhere. You have to get out of your comfort level. I was getting a fat check every 2 weeks, comfortable paycheck, right, coming to me, but I was not happy with the environment that I was in. You know what I'm saying? I felt like I was almost like a prisoner, but I had to get out from that prison and free myself and my time to be with my family. I can take time anytime if one day I wake up in the morning not going to work, I don't have to go to work. I can spend my time with my family and my son. If one day I want to go to Barcelona and spend some time with my wife alone, I can do that anytime I want. It's up to me. I control my own time, my own destiny. When I was working the bank, that was calculated for me. I had no way of controlling it whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So action, taking action, and just be on top of my game, and wake up in the morning saying, you know what, I like what to do. I like what I'm doing right now. Hit the gym. After the gym, I'm off to the races. You know what I'm saying? I'm out there talking to contractors, to brokers, to bankers, insurance companies, which is something I enjoy doing so much. Talking, admittedly.
Right?
Absolutely,
People don't realize they
absolutely
have golden handcuffs until it's too late, right? And
correct,
that's you have to change something in your story to
correct,
become free again, right? That's what you do. You get into financial freedom, and that's the next
correct,
level. Now you're not working for your money,
correct,
right? You're working for
absolutely,
your time. So you don't want to work for money.
absolutely.
Now money work for you. And this is the whole idea of being real estate investor. Why do we start? Why we want to spend more time with our family? We want to travel. Everyone has their own why, but in the end of the day, you have to take risks and you have to start and do action, and action is pivotal for everyone,
Yes,
right?
sir.
From there is what
Yes,
is the
sir.
beginning
Yes,
for
sir.
your journey. Well, Ahmed, it's been a blast. It has been an inspiring conversation, and thank you for sharing your journey and insights with us. Where can listeners connect with you if they want to learn more, to collaborate with you?
I am working on my website, but the best way to get a hold of me is on LinkedIn and via email.
Very good. I will drop the link to your LinkedIn and email in this video call, and we'll share with our listeners. Um, well,
Alex, thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure talking to you and being part of your amazing Path of Progress podcast.
thank you, Ahmed. It was a pleasure, my friend.
Thank you.
Bye bye. To all of our listeners, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to smash that like and subscribe button. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversation, and as always, keep pushing forward. See you next time.